after meeting with politicians and officials about healthcare policy, I moved to Hawaii and had absolutely nothing to say about healthcare policy because if you want to know what I think about healthcare policy, you need to ask these people right here. They did a wonderful job taking care of my triplets. My triplets were born at Kaiser Moanalua. I've never had such great healthcare in my life. So that being said, let's talk about the history of Kaiser Permanente. It's kind of weird. I've always wondered who Kaiser was and who Permanente was. Dr. Kaiser and Dr. Permanente, who are them? I never had any idea, and now I'm going to tell you who they were because neither of them were doctors. The original doctor that started Kaiser Permanente is this guy right here, Sidney Garfield. He started Kaiser Permanente. He was a physician, a great surgeon back in the days of the Great Depression. There's the Colorado River Aqueduct project, and what the Colorado River Aqueduct was, it's how Los Angeles in Southern California gets its water. It comes from the Colorado River and goes all the way across the mountains and into the Southern California area. This is a huge project with lots of workers. And Dr. Garfield, he saw this project and saw these workers needed access to health care. So he went there, set up a hospital, started treating sick and injured workers. Now something to keep in mind, these huge projects back in that day, these injured and killed significant numbers of people. When we think about Dr. Garfield setting up a hospital out here, we think of it as a Band-Aid station, and that was not the case at all. Last night we were talking about what constitutes a level 1 trauma center. I've done neurosurgery in 3 different level 1 trauma centers, and when I was an ER doctor out in the middle of nowhere in Upper Sandusky, Ohio, cars used to run into each other. I'd see all sorts of trauma there too. So when I think about my practice out in rural Ohio, you get this many people working together around heavy machinery, there's an enormous amount of very severe injuries going on. And so Dr. Garfield's hospital, it wasn't a Band-Aid station, it'd be more like a war zone. When you think about back in those days, they didn't have worker protection, and they didn't have health care either, for that matter. So he started taking care of these people who are getting all sorts of industrial injuries from all this equipment. Somebody died about every 3 weeks on this project. And so you can imagine how many people got injured. And he'd take care of these people. And of course, as if anything's changed, he would have trouble getting insurance companies to reimburse him at all. But, you know, as usual, like most doctors, you know, somebody sick comes in the door, somebody mangled comes in the door, and we're going to do what we need to do to take care of them. And so because Dr. Garfield would not turn away sick people, he often did not get paid for his services. And in no time, his hospital was financially unsustainable, just like hospitals today are financially unsustainable if they are taking care of people who have no health insurance. Well, Harold Hatch is another founder of Kaiser Permanente. Notice that the organization is named for neither of them. Harold Hatch said, hey, instead of having insurance companies just pay you for your services, just have them pay you a membership fee in advance. And then you use that money to take care of people. And so once Dr. Garfield started charging a membership fee to use his services in hospital, then the hospital became financially successful. Well, Henry J. Kaiser was an industrialist. He built things, and so that's where the Kaiser name comes from. And so because of Dr. Garfield's success, Henry Kaiser came to him and said, we want you to work on the Grand Coulee Dam project because there are going to be 6,500 workers that need health care. Henry J. Kaiser built these Liberty ships in Richmond, California, Portland, Oregon, and Vancouver, Washington. 30,000 workers working at the shipyards, and they needed health care as well. And so Kaiser went to Dr. Garfield and said, we want to use your system to help take care of these workers because they're in poor health. They use the word inexperienced because they would get occupational injuries routinely. And so again, Dr. Garfield was very busy taking care of all these patients. And so Garfield and Kaiser continued the success of innovation, and that's basically where Kaiser Permanente came from. Permanente comes from Permanente Creek in California. There was a concrete plant next to Permanente Creek, and the concrete plant was called Kaiser Permanente.